Hey, y'all, welcome to Paranormally Blonde. I brought my shine tonight. I'm trying to cover it up, but there's no good. I'd have to like literally sit on my knees. Welcome to Paranormally Blonde. You're right here on the X, the new mainstream with Deedee and myself, Sarah V. Welcome. I hope you guys watched last week because wow, right?
Yeah.
Like we had the fabulous Bill Bryant from Empty Casket Paranormal, and he did this whole amazing lesson on EMF. And honestly, I still have people reaching out as of today talking about just things that popped into their mind and
Yeah.
sort of taking a look at like how we're using our K2 meters, what we're using while we're using our K2 meters. I mean, these are things that I think sometimes we take for granted, right? And you
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
forget. And
Mhm.
so now it kind of makes me want to go back and like check to see what I was doing with K2 meters when
Yeah.
I got readings, right? Like I don't know now, like was I doing it right or was I not doing it right? Did I miss some
Yeah.
things because I didn't have it turned the right way?
Yeah. Oh, well, and that's one thing I never even thought of, but I know for fact that I used to hold my cell phone and my K2 meter together. So
Together, there you go. And you probably got
and I
lots
at
of
one point
hits.
figured that out, but
That's right. There you go. A quick hi to everybody. We've got Get Haunted Rob on with us. Hi, Rob. Michael, how are you doing? We have Travis. Hello. And we have, I'm not sure, is this Gingis Khan? I'm probably not saying that right at all. And I apologize. But if you have a first name you want to give us, I can call you by that as well. Good vibes to the PB tribe. I love that. We have such great viewers and listeners. They're so kind. I sometimes
yeah.
I love to watch like what they're doing over there and they're so kind to each other. I love that.
Yeah.
There's Mr. Bill Bryan right there. He said, hello, blondes. We were thinking about doing a little fun after show with Bill. I told you guys there was going to be a quiz, and guess what? We're creating one. So
Yeah.
guess what? You guys can play a little cahoots with us and we'll see what's going on. Hey, D Hoot. So it's Monday, it's 7 p.m., a little after. We're live. It's time for the random question. Got my little deck of cards here. I was shuffling because I noticed, do you guys, for those that watch, I'm this talker. I got
Yeah.
my hands going all over the place all the time. Okay. This one, not paranormal. None of these really are. But what's the best Wi-Fi name you've seen? Has anything come up from like your neighbors? You know, like when you go to look for Wi-Fi and it like pops up from your neighborhood. Have you ever seen anything hysterical?
My neighbors are pretty boring. There's like all say Wi-Fi in it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
no.
Like last names and Wi-Fi, or
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Any of our viewers, do you guys have anything you can share? You don't have to give us like anybody's, right? But I can't. I know I've seen funny ones, but I can't. I feel like ours are super technical. It's like a lot of letters and a lot of numbers,
Right.
right?
So
So
no
no,
one's ever gonna get it.
yeah, so nobody can guess it, right? It's like, and which I can never remember either.
Right. That's the problem.
Right, right. So yeah, so because of last week's show and between Dr. Sumner's amazing presentation with paranormal tourism and now oh, I like Get Haunted. Did you see that
Yeah.
FBI spy network? That's like, yes, that's so random. I would have never guessed who that belonged to, right? Like um so yeah, and then between Dr. Sumner's and Bill's presentation, Deedee was like, you know what? I want to do this too with my dream analysis. And so we have touched on this with Deedee, but now we're going to get a good, really good lesson on how to, analyze your own dreams. You know, I don't do this. This is something Deedee's done for like 30 years. Am I
Yeah.
correct? Yeah. I mean, you've
Yeah,
been
I've
doing this.
always done it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've done this forever. And I think you've got your technique kind of honed in. And so to me, like what better way to do this than with a little presentation and having you walk us through it? That way, when you can't remember, come back to the show, rewatch it, and you
Right.
got it all right there.
Yeah, and you start to develop when you do it a lot, you start to develop a formula and you
Mhm.
like can do it very quickly,
Right.
because you know the outline. And there's different methods. And I found there's this book that I recommend checking out. It's just a little book, a starter book for dream analysis, and we can post it on the blog and in the comments. But everybody has their own way of doing dream analysis. So there's no like right way to do it. There's a right way for you.
Right.
So I'm giving you the way that I do it for myself and for others, but it's not, there's lots of different ways to approach it. But for me, this is like the most basic, simplest way. Okay. But like some examples from people that we know of is Freud. He says a dream symbol is a picture that jogs your memory about something in your past, and those past memories shed light on a message that relates to your present. So that's like a very like typical, people are just, it's just something you like, people you see in your dream are just people that you've seen at some point, and it's being used as a dream symbol. Right. And then there's Carl Jung that noted that your current thoughts about a dream symbol may also contribute to the meaning of a dream. If you dream of a lake, instead of remembering a past experience at a lake, think of what a lake means to you now. So, there's different ways of looking at it, and you start to, when you get into the groove, you start to understand and pick it out, more quickly.
Right. So I guess it's kind of just really, it would be like anything in life, which is it's how you perceive it.
Yeah. Well, literally. Yeah. Right, except for, there's different, and I've taken some classes. And so there's one thing that really stood out to me that I loved is that we are a collective consciousness. And so that some of the symbols that we pull out or faces that we see aren't people that we saw. It's all coming from that collective conscious. And I love that. And that's like a whole like dig deeper topic, but.
Right. Well, and I would assume there must be so many studies on this. And I don't know how much people from all different areas. Psychology, paranormal, and metaphysical, all the things that people that can tap into what your dreams, right? Because it's when you're the most vulnerable. So here's a question. So last night we had 5 planets in line. They lined up. Did anybody have any freaky dreams because of that? Did the alignment of planets kind of mess with anybody? Was it a perfect open portal for things to come through? I know dream-wise, I've been in a weird headspace the last, really lots of different thoughts about paranormal, about the metaphysical, really questioning things, kind of like nothing bad, just really getting into some questions and some hypocrisy there. And so my dreams have been really funky the last few, probably maybe 4 nights, really bizarre. But I wonder if the 5 planets lining up, if that's affected anybody's dream, or if,
even if you think it will, it could,
True.
right? So, and the fact that you're having all these dreams, like what you are trying to understand, and you've said this to me also in the waking world, is that you already know the answer. So your symbols that are coming out in your dream are telling you what you truly think. Yeah. Even if when you're awake, you don't realize that you think that. The dreams are telling you the answers to what you think. And it's almost like, I always feel like it's the more intelligent part of myself. Right. Also the calmer, wiser part of myself. Right. And it's really helped me to use my dreams to understand like my whole spiritual journey, that it really helped ground me and make me calm and not fear dreams. Like I look forward to dreams and analyzing them. And even like I'll sometimes have dreams about people that I love that are dead. Right. And I'm talking to them. And so a lot of people get upset when they dream about someone who's died and say it's their child or anybody. But remember, it's just a dream more than likely. There are cases where it could be, something you're seeing in the future. Sure. But usually it's just, a symbol. So I don't think, to me, there are no nightmares. Nightmares are dreams that are like screaming, listen to me. I have a message,
It could be. I don't know. I will say and this I believe started on the old podcast, my dream of a house within this house has reappeared. The difference, same house within the house. This time though, literally somebody was in it and they were selling it. So I don't know what that means now.
Oh, I love that.
I believe this will be dream number 4 of this house within my house. And I was taking my girlfriend through it this time. I was like, you got to see this. And I was walking her through, and it's always the same house within this house. And all of a sudden there were people, and I don't know if it's because we've been having these talks about going through homes, but
Yeah.
there were people.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden I turned around and there was an older woman, and I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm selling this.
Oh,
So
could that be you like, throwing out an old past thought or idea? Because the house is usually aspects of yourself. You're showing your friends, so you're like ready to talk about it.
It could be. That's a good point. I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah, I just, they've been just so bizarre. So, let's see, Michael, I had a dream I was doing the weekend in jail. Sure, seems appropriate, Michael.
Was that a dream?
That's right. Right. Are you wearing a bracelet? Do you have the bracelet around your ankle? All right. So if everybody's ready, let's get into your amazing slides that I have not seen these. I did not sneak any peeks. I wanted to be surprised with everybody else and kind of learn right alongside everybody. So
this is my first crack at doing slides.
Yeah. This is fun. It's fun, right?
It is fun to put together.
That's right. The show's just gonna be all slides, and we're like, we're just doing slides. Slides it is. All right, so let's get going with slide number 1 of Deedee's dream analysis.
Okay, so this is how to analyze your own dreams.
That's right. Hey, Melissa, welcome.
Okay. So my first thoughts, and most people probably already know most of these, is how to remember your dreams, what you need. Obviously, you need a phone or a notepad. I used to write them down, but I would lose the notepad. So now I've started putting them into my phone and now my blog, so I don't lose it. But write down anything you remember. So say you're somebody who says you don't remember your dreams.
Right.
Well, if you remember that you had a dream, that you saw a frog, okay, just write that down. And then the next day, write down. So you start to train yourself to write down right away when you wake up, even if it's 2 a.m. So it's a commitment, because at 2 a.m., a lot of people are like, I'll remember, but you won't.
Right.
So you have to commit that you want to do that and start writing down those 2 o'clock in the morning dreams, because those are sometimes the best ones.
What about, I wonder, could we record, maybe like do a little voice memo if you don't want to write it down?
And I've heard John Tenney talk about that. He records his dreams. And I think that's a great idea. And I always forget to do that myself, because I would love to hear myself talk at 2 a.m.
Right. And then you never know. What if there's like an extra voice in there helping you out? Yeah.
Another piece of advice I have is, when you're trying to remember your dream, try to remember it as a memory, as if you were there.
Okay.
That for me really helps. And so, like, it's not a dream. Think of it as a memory, because for your mind, it is a memory. You were there. You really did have that experience, whatever it was.
Okay.
So your mind did. And I feel you'll recall it much better that way. And then even if it's just a really small part of a dream, just write that info down, and then write out. So you write out a dream, maybe it's 3 sentences, keep reading it back to yourself. And as you do, you'll remember little bits of things. Like, remember if you looked around, did you look to your left? Did you look to your right? Did you see the sky? What was in the sky? What do you remember? The people's shoes? Every little detail that you can remember. Each time you remember a detail, it'll start to bring that dream back to you, and you'll blow your own mind when you realize how much you can remember just by working with that dream. You might work on it all day, take a coffee break at work, and just start writing things down. It really does work.
I feel like it's the little things, though, that you just mentioned about writing down that I won't remember. And that is, I look to the right or I look to the left. It would have to have been something that created such a feeling in me. But maybe, as you said, as you begin, your dreams what you're writing or recording won't be quite as exciting. But as you do it, maybe a month into it, maybe you start to realize you're remembering more and more.
Yeah. You build on it. First, you won't remember, more than likely, you won't remember details like that. Right. But as you get more into it, you become more aware as you're dreaming, and you remember things more. The more you do it, like, I got to a point where I have trouble sleeping a lot because I wake up for every dream and write things down, and it really does disrupt your sleep. So it's not probably a really healthy activity, but if you're really into it,
Right. Well, right. I mean, see, I guess that is something that's interesting, though, because now you really are interrupting your dream cycle. And then does that also I guess we really won't know, but does that change the dream at all when you fall back asleep? What if you would have just gone right back to sleep without writing anything down? Can you continue that dream, or you know what
Well,
I'm saying?
sometimes you can fall back into the dream if you barely, woke
Yeah,
up. If you're kind of in that not quite awake, not quite asleep, that happens mostly with nightmares. And
right,
so, a little side tip for that is if you do have a nightmare, get up, get out of your bed, go
right,
to the bathroom, fully wake yourself up, and
right,
then go back to sleep or write about it.
right.
That's a time where maybe you don't want to go back to sleep and write about it. But if you have a nightmare and then like don't move, usually you can go right back into it.
Yeah.
That's not, unlikely. And then
I don't want to dangle my feet off the bed right after a nightmare. I don't want to go to the bathroom right after a nightmare. I'm just going to stay right where I
but they'll be there with
am.
you in the bed.
That's right. Listen, then that's where they're going to get me, but they're
Yeah.
not getting me on the way to the bathroom. I rarely remember my dreams. Why? That's a question from
Yeah.
Robin. And it's funny because I feel like I go through cycles of that, like where I can and maybe because I'm feeling more mindful right now because I'm so into this in my head I am talking
Yeah.
to myself throughout the day with these
Right.
conversations. So, is it just that you're
Yeah.
just,
It's disinterest.
yeah,
I read up on that, and a lot of times that people say they want to remember their dreams, but it's not really a focal point,
yeah,
on their mind. If they remember a dream, it's great. Like maybe they'll remember a dream once a month or something.
yeah.
But you can train yourself by setting an intention before you go to bed.
Mhm,
I really do want to remember my dreams. And so
mhm.
you keep saying that to yourself, and your mind is aware of that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you wake up, write down anything you remember, even if it's just a feeling. I feel like I dreamt about, like, you don't remember what you dreamt,
Yeah.
but I feel like I dreamt I was at the 7-Eleven, but I'm not sure. Or I feel like I bought
Mhm.
something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
that will start to train your mind. So maybe you don't remember who you saw, but you remember you talked to somebody,
Right.
and that'll start to bring it about.
Right. So there's your answer, Rob. You're just disinterested in what you're dreaming. Yes, I agree, Bill. Maybe because they are too weird for but whose aren't
Yeah.
too weird for real? Okay, try to say that 3 times in a row. That's almost impossible. Blah. All right. So keep going and write your dreams out, record your dreams, every little thing you can remember, even how it made you feel, I'm assuming, and
Yeah. Oh,
and
definitely.
and read it throughout the day. And so it's almost
Keep
like,
building on
I
it.
guess you're manifesting your dream a little bit.
You are. You're recalling it because it's there. All
Right.
your dreams are there. You just
Right.
have to pull them out. And anything can stop you. Like if you have a bad dream and you wake up and you go to the bathroom, by the time you come back, you've lost most of
Right.
the dream, unless
Right.
you start writing it out, then you could pull it back out.
Or record it on the way to the bathroom. There you go.
I love the idea of recording the dream. I always say I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to hold me to that.
I would never be able to. I'd have to get up, put on my glasses, look for the voice memo button.
That's true.
That I've already forgotten the dream, and yeah, we're done.
Just a lot of cursing.
That's right. You're gonna have to have it set up. All right. What's this?
This is interesting. Tanya says, I can generally pause dreams and go back into them to continue like watching TV. At one point, I could even flip through various dreams, like changing channels. That is amazing.
Interesting.
I love that.
Yeah. So that is a well-trained dream person. Michael, note to self, catheter. Yes, that's right. So that's a lot of prep for bed, though. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's interesting, Tanya. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say that
I'd love to
takes a
talk more
lot.
about that.
Yeah, that takes a lot of training, I would assume.
Yeah.
Or, I don't even know how you could get yourself to flip through the dreams would be
I don't know, but I
that's the
want to talk to
interesting
her about that and find out.
yeah, right.
Let's see. The best dreams ever was when I was a young teen. I had a TV series dream every Wednesday, which has a solid storyline. It lasted a year and even had summer repeats. You should have written that out and had yourself a show.
That's right. And
That makes me wonder if that's how people write stuff.
I was gonna say, doesn't that sound like a perfect, like, she's on her interview, she's got this hit TV show, and she's like, I don't know, it's just a dream, and it just
Yeah.
every Wednesday it came out. That's a good question, Deehoot.
I think it says, do we dream nightly and just not remember? I believe so, because it's like part of our sleep is where our body heals itself. And then later in sleep, it's where your mind sorts out all of your issues. So we should be dreaming nightly.
Yeah.
She knows the story too. There you go.
There you go. You never know. It could be the next Vampire Diaries, or I'm not saying hers are spooky, but maybe it's something cool that the kids will love, or you could do like a cool TikTok series on it, because everybody loves that. So
yeah,
there you go.
I've never been to TikTok, so I don't know.
I don't get it. I think I might be too old, but I can't figure it out myself. All right, let's move on to your next slide.
Okay, so dream symbols, your subconscious speaks to you through symbols. So sometimes in dreams, people will talk to you and you'll remember what they say, but usually it's symbols. It's like probably 90% symbols. And so anything is a symbol, everything. Like even looking to the left, I didn't know it for the longest time, but looking to the left is like looking for spiritual wisdom. And I never knew that.
Okay.
And in my dreams, I always notice that I am looking to the left, which is weird. Colors, people, how you feel, what you're doing, what you're seeing, like literally everything. The sounds you hear, like I've had dreams where I can hear the gravel underneath my feet. Everything means something.
Okay. Interesting.
Just write it all down.
Write it all down. Michael says, sort out your issues. What are you trying to say, Deedee? Michael, what we're saying is everyone has issues, whether we admit to them or not. And they're going to get you. You cannot sweep this stuff under the rug. And when you think about it, dreams probably are the best way that they're going to say, I'm right here. Your issue is right here. And you are going to address me.
Yeah, at some point. And this is interesting too. Does background radio talking affect which dream or lack of recall? It definitely affects what you should be in a quiet room. If you have any kind of people talking outside or TV, radio, that's definitely going to interfere.
I'm going to say I will confirm this, validate this, because when I was in Sedona and in the room with 3 teenage girls, I am a like to sleep with the TV on girl. That's me. I don't like the dark. And no, they wanted it pitch black. And they also had blackout shades because we were on the, like where I don't know, just however the sun would come in. So they made sure it was nice and dark in there. And I was getting really freaked out. So I would pop in coast to coast in my ear. And I would only have one AirPod on. And let me tell you something, whatever they were talking about, I was dreaming about.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done that with TV shows. I'll be like,
yeah. Yeah. And just with that particular radio show, I mean, it was the craziest stuff. And it was like, okay, can't do that anymore. So no. This is true. Yeah.
That's probably not even good for you, especially because you don't know what's being put into your mind.
Well, true. Well, right. Yeah. If I suddenly have a complete 180 about some crazy conspiracy or something, then we know that they got to me. Shane says, Sarah, I do the same thing. Right. I mean, it is. I almost want to say, of course, being in Sedona, and then it was an alien topic, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember, and it freaked me out. And then also it freaked me out because somebody texted me, and Siri, when you have your AirPods on, she reads you the text, and that got incorporated into my dream with the topic, and that was weird. So yeah, don't even sleep with your AirPods on.
Yeah, so don't do that.
Don't do that. Okay, so every symbol, anything that could just be colors, directions, people, everything. Yeah, everything.
Night, day, all of it. Ugh. It all means something, and it'll all help you build your story too. I like to call it your dream stories.
Right. Maybe you could come up with, Deedee, an amazing, like a really cool, easy dream journal where you have like these little boxes where people could just be like, oh, color here. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, maybe
that's actually a good idea.
You could like build out some sort of a pyramid for people.
Things to help people pull out what they want to remember. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Rob, Get Haunted, help Deedee. Let's get on this. Let's
give
Deedee
awesome.
Her dream analysis book. She needs to have one. It needs to be out there. Okay. On to the next slide. All right.
Okay. So finding the symbol's meaning. I like to use Dreammoods, but I would say you need to visit multiple sites. If you're really wanting to dig in, I would go to, Google, and every single site you can find a book. And so symbols have different meanings. So like somebody might say a cow means one thing and somebody else says something else. And then there's the spiritual meaning and the fortune telling. So there's all different things going on. So when you're pulling out the symbols and looking them up on the internet or in a book, write out what you think makes the most sense, what feels right to you about that dream, the emotion, the feeling. And then as you're putting it together, all your different symbols should start to complement each other and build a story. If it doesn't, then maybe you need to relook at some of those symbols again, because it's basically telling you a story. Right. So it should sound like it does. It shouldn't be all over the place.
Do you feel, and I know, like you stated, it would depend, and you mentioned like with a cow, and even if I have, what was it that somebody brought to my attention? And it was like, wait, did I do it, or was somebody else doing whatever the symbol is? And I can't remember what it was, but that makes a difference. But do you find, like, say the dream symbol for a frog, just a frog, do you feel like when you go across the different sites or books, are they fairly similar? And I don't mean like if a frog is smashed or if a frog is in the water. I just mean like for just the frog. Do you find they're similar? Or do they vary from site to site?
They do vary, especially more now than ever.
Okay.
But there's usually you'll find that they have a similar meaning, but I've noticed lately that it's all over the place. Okay. So it makes it a little harder. But yeah, you want to go and like first just start with just the frog. And then look up if it's, say, a smashed frog. Then look up a smashed frog. And then maybe just look up smashed and put frog and smash together on your own, you know, because it is very all over the place right now.
Right. And, side note, and this is not a criticism necessarily, but what I have found on some of these TikTok things, when they start doing these, they'll offer this dream analysis or, metaphysical stuff or whatever. Yeah. It's almost like a whole new way of doing it. It's not really going by any traditional means or methods of how they do this. So I'm curious, like, I think the dream book I have is rather old. So I'm curious, like, do these things get updated as, I don't know, as generations move up and, we just put different meanings, the younger people put different meanings to something.
Yeah. Well, and I think that makes sense that things may change the way people see things, know, but the only way I can check myself with, like, if I'm doing someone else's dream analysis is first to just ask them to be honest, does that seem to fit, but I also, when I do a dream analysis, I pull a card and I see if the card matches the story I just told. And then if it does, then I know, okay, I was on the right track. And then that's, a true interpretation. So that's how I kind of check my own work, is by pulling a card.
Okay. That's a great method to do. And on that note, let's also do a quick little interjection here. Deedee does dream analysis. You can offer her your dream, give her as much as you're willing to give her. And she will analyze that for you. And she then has a little sideshow, little thing that she'll discuss, and she puts them up there. And I feel, I know there's a few of you that have shared your dreams with her on here. She's done mine, and it's interesting really how it resonates. It wasn't like you gave me something I'm like, no, that doesn't even fit. So how do they reach you if they want to give you the dream?
You can email me at hauntedhourpodcast@yahoo.com.
Perfect.
And that's where I prefer to get it, because then they're all in the same place.
Right.
And then I will, what I started doing is, because they're like out a bit on the thing. So I will do the dream analysis and then just send it to you. And then it'll be on a future episode. Because it's called like a coffee, what do they call it? A coffee break podcast. It's like 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah. No,
and I'll talk about polls too.
Yeah, it's great. You guys should go and listen to this. It's a great little, you get in there, you hear it, and it makes, when I listen to them, I'm always like, it makes me want to go back and like reanalyze some of my dreams. Yeah. But it is a lot of looking up. You said it is a commitment. Yeah. And I agree with you, though. If you're going to share your dream with her, you do have to be honest about what it is. Yeah. If there's that one thing that you feel is a little, I don't know, if you feel it's embarrassing, or it's probably important. And maybe if it's invoking that kind of an emotion as well, it might be the most important piece to your dream. So.
And I won't, it can be anonymous too. Right. And then if somebody is like, my dream is so messed up that I just want you to analyze it, and I don't want you to put it on the podcast, I would do that too. Right. you know, so.
Yeah. So just put that on there, like not for public consumption, but would love you to analyze.
Right.
So please haunted our podcast at
At
yahoo.com. So please make sure if you want your dream analyzed that you send it into Deedee, our resident dream analysis. Okay. Next slide.
Okay, so here was a little like a mini dream that I had, and this is all I remembered from it, but it still had a lot of meaning to it. So the thing, first of all, is you want to put your symbols in the order as they appear in the dream.
Okay.
When you read it back to yourself, you'll be hearing what your subconscious is telling you. An example dream I had was I was making a salad and a woman told me to put mustard on it. And I remember waking up being like, what?
Right. Mustard.
Why would I do that? You know? And so I was thinking, is this like a thing about health or eating boring food? I didn't know, you know? So basically to kind of like really get your brain thinking, the salad was, I was making a salad. So it was something that a project I was working on or an action, you know, so I had that mindset. The woman is telling me something. So that's the message. The woman is an aspect of myself, I think. And then mustard, I need mustard for the salad. I would never do that, but in the dream, maybe that's why it did that, though. It was letting me know, you know. But so that was something I need. So I want something to happen, but I still need something to help me make that happen. Is how I broke it down in my mind.
Maybe since for you wouldn't put mustard in a salad, but maybe it was so crazy. It's like, what you need to accomplish this is something you're not even thinking of.
Right. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I kind of in the next 3 slides break it down even more. It's just a way to inspire thought when you guys are doing your dreams.
No, it makes perfect. And I like, for me, I could probably go, that makes sense to me. Like I like the simplicity of, okay, salad, this is what I was doing. This is somebody talking to me. And then this was the weird thing that stood out from what I was
missing.
doing. Yeah. Okay. All right. So your next slide.
So we keep breaking it down again. So here's some things that I pulled from the internet. To see or eat a salad in your dream suggests that you need to express your feelings and take in positive influences in your life for personal growth. And then a woman telling me something. To see a woman in your dream represents nurturance, passivity, caring nature, and love. And there's lots of different definitions for it. But for whatever reason, this one stood out to me. So that's the one I wrote down. Mustard Dreammoods didn't fit. So I went into a dream encyclopedia and it said, dreams of mustard denote trust in a positive outcome, your beliefs and connections to a higher power. So that was almost more like a spiritual thing. And so I grabbed that because that also resonated with me.
Sure.
And then on the last one, I kind of finished breaking it down.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at the comments next going on here are hysterical. You got Michael saying didn't snack before bed, belly rumbling while sleeping. Could be. You know, it's weird. I love food so much in the living world that I don't really recall ever eating food in my dreams. Isn't that weird? I don't know. I don't know that and all I think about all day long is food and what I can eat next. And you got Rob here saying, don't judge me, but is there some symbolism to having dreams with little people in them?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Huh.
I'd have to look it up though, because I know a lot of people claim to know all the symbols, but I don't.
Well, you know,
I look them up.
I mean, how could you possibly know?
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be you've got a photographic memory if you can memorize all of that. But
yeah,
that's very interesting about mustard being something more on the spiritual side.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how that would, like, I don't think I would have ever guessed that, Deedee. I don't think I would have thought, oh, mustard, spiritual side.
No, I was thinking like bland toppings. And
bland. Nice. Yeah. Couldn't be any more, I don't know, Americana.
Pedestrian.
Pedestrian. Perfect word. Yeah, right? Like mustard. Okay. Let's go on to your next slide.
So the example in the dream analysis, I was making a salad and a woman told me to put mustard on it. The symbol salad is positive outcome is what I finally narrowed it down to.
Okay.
The woman need to take things more seriously, not be passive. Again, that was through the process of breaking it down. I'm shaving things off until it makes sense. And then trust in a positive outcome with connections to a higher power. So basically I'm looking for some positive outcome, but I need to be more serious and not be so passive. Like nothing's going to happen if I just sit there.
Mhm.
And then I need to trust the fact there can be a positive outcome and
Yeah.
have connections to a higher power. So that's how, and I actually had posted this on Instagram when I did it, and I
Mhm.
wrote it out as a dream story, which now I'm going to find for you.
This
But
was an actual dream, correct?
yeah, this was a real dream that I had.
Did you pull a card on this to validate?
I did, and now I'm trying to find it.
And we've got Bill Bryan saying the mustard seed in Eastern mythology is used in a lot of spiritual rituals. So there we
Interesting.
go. Thank you, Bill. That's very
Yeah.
helpful. It's not
Yeah,
so
so that
pedestrian
matches up with
after.
what I found too.
Yeah, not so
So, okay,
pedestrian.
this was my interpretation as told as a dream story. I need to take things more seriously for a positive outcome. Take in positive influences in my life needed for personal growth. Trust in a positive outcome and my belief and connection to a higher power. And so the card that I pulled was doctor, and it was mental health.
Oh,
So
very interesting.
And it totally was spot on me. Like that's my, true inner self, is that I'm too passive. So that totally made sense.
And I guess, I mean, right, we should be heeding our own advice is something that I truly, I am a big champion of that. I believe that all the answers are within
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And right. And so you might not like what you're telling yourself, but there might be a very, very good reason why you need to hear it. So,
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean and if you're doing it yourself, it's all private, but you grow and you learn,
All right. And your next slide.
Okay, so I wanted to touch a little bit on spirit visitations because it's a paranormal show.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, what if you think a spirit is coming to you and this is not a dream? So things that I consider is the location of your dream and something that's spoken to you that happens in waking life. So for me, when I feel like spirits are visiting me, I am literally waking up exactly where I am. Nothing's different. I'm in my room, on the couch, at the hotel, wherever I'm at. It's just like I'm awake in the room. It feels very real. And then I have an experience. And that's very few of my dreams are like that. Maybe 10 in my whole life. Right. And then something that's been spoken to you. And then when you wake up, that's an actual true thing. And so I have an example of that on the next slide.
Okay.
So for me personally, this happened to me for real. I fell asleep on my sofa one day. I woke up in the spot I was sleeping, and a man was floating above me, said, "My brother has a lot of problems and you should stay away." So I told him the next day, and he said, and I didn't know this guy very well. And apparently he did have a brother, but he had committed suicide a few years ago. And he wasn't a good person. Not the guy who killed himself, but the brother.
Okay.
So
the guy you were dating.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was interesting to me that it was just weird,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it is, and it's interesting. Maybe it would have been the only way you would have accepted that information.
Yeah.
Is
probably.
For him to come in your dreams. I mean, I suppose if something just walked into your house and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And right. I mean, maybe that was a good way. And as you stated here, if your living guy you're dating is being weird about it. Did you say, hey, your brother was in my dream?
Yeah, I said, well, actually what I asked him was, did he have a brother?
Okay.
And he said yes. And then I didn't say that I just said, I didn't want to be like, your brother was warning me against you. So I just said that I had a dream that you had a brother. Yeah. And I left it at that because I thought that I don't know if someone would want to know. So his brother's talking about him in his afterlife.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I mean, and like you, I've had a couple where you just know. I feel like there are those that you might be, was that a visitation? But there are those that you're just like, and for me, it was my first trip to Arizona 21 years ago. And I was at, my sister-in-law's mother-in-law's house sleeping in a guest room and was sick. Before I'd gone to bed, I was just sick. I don't don't know if I got the stomach flu right before I got in there. I don't know what happened. But anyways, I was up most of the night and I struggled to fall asleep. And when I fell asleep, I felt like I'd only been asleep for 2 minutes. But my mom, who had been passed away for many years, walked into that room. And I remember I sat up and I was like, what are you doing here? And we hugged, and everything that was in the room was in my dream. And never, like, my husband was laying right next to me, never moved. We were having this conversation and crying, and I knew she'd been gone. And how are you here? And I don't remember what she was telling me, but that was like one of the, and then I fell asleep and I woke up, and I was just like, when I woke up, I was like, what the heck was that? Like, that was the most bizarre. I must have just been the perfect opportunity for her to show herself. But it's one of those things, like, you're not supposed to be here. You know, like in a dream, I've had my mom in dreams where you're like, it's just a dream, different. Right? Yeah. But this was like, I conscious, like, you're not supposed to be here. You've passed. So what are you here for? So it's a very interesting, that stuff is crazy to me. So then it makes you wonder, like, obviously I connect with my mother. So that's going to really resonate, within my soul. But what if these other dreams we're having are some sort of visitation that just doesn't resonate with us? Yeah. What if it's something from a location we've brought back, or something that we've just stumbled upon, and we're not realizing that these are visitations? But I don't know.
Well, that's why I say, I feel like if you have the dream and you're in your room, because I've had other, like the time I had the spirit that smacked me in the face. And then that's the same night when my husband woke up in the morning, he told me he felt a cold hand on his arm, but it was on the opposite side of the bed. Yeah. Coming from, outside of the bed. Yeah. And that's when I got hit, and it was all happening in our room. So
that's not Meat Man, right?
No. That was the little girl.
Oh, that's right. I like to throw Meat Man out there because I want everybody to be freaked out about it just as much as we are half the time. Let's see. What does this say? Depending on the little people in dream, could be you have to stand up to something and feel inadequate. That's Michael Greer giving Rob some advice on possibly what a little person in your dream is. That's very interesting and makes kind of sense if you think about it. You could kind of see that.
No, I love that as an explanation. So then he would have to go back and like remember what else was going on in the dream, if he can remember, what were they doing, or what was he doing, or what else was going on, and put it together, and then you'll know for sure.
Yeah. Get back to us, Rob. We want to know.
Yeah. This says, Tanya says, what about sleep paralysis dreams? My son and I both witnessed the same creature during ours. Ooh. It's a black creeper that shuffles over the floor with long arms and legs. Ooh. I personally believe, I know sleep paralysis is a real physical thing that can happen to people. It's when your mind wakes up before your body. But I do believe there's times when like I said, we're talking about Meat Man. That's when I had the experience. I was praying, and we talked about this not too long ago. I was praying for the Holy Spirit to possess me.
Right.
And so apparently something tried, and it came down on me, and I couldn't move, and I was in my bed, and it's absolutely terrifying. And I mean, I spelled out JES in my mind because it kept trying to make me rebuke it in the name of Satan. So because of that experience, believe that can happen, and I don't really know what you can do to stop it.
No, so, I mean, that's because now we're not talking,
it's still a visitation. It's just it's a visitation. Nice.
So now we're not talking about or is it a manifestation of something in your subconscious? Is it something that's just so big that it manifests into this weird Meat Man or black crawly thing? I mean, I don't, this is where, and again, I mean, it's the experiencer, right? This is where it comes to where the experiencer really has to probably nail down like exactly what's going on, and then maybe step outside of that dream and think about what's going on in the household. What is a shared something that you could be stressing about, or right? Like you almost have to wonder, like, if we can manifest poltergeist, if you believe in that theory, can we manifest this stuff in our dreams? I mean, maybe we're more powerful than we realize when we're sleeping.
Maybe, but I would think that at that time in my life, I was like 18. I didn't have to worry about money or anything. Like I didn't have, any real problems. And I've had real life. Right. And I haven't had an experience like that, which I'm grateful for, but so I don't know.
But maybe when we're young and we've just kind of, we're wild and free and we're not harnessing that power and that's
Yep.
what's coming out. I don't know why you'd
Maybe.
want to manifest Meat Man, but perhaps.
No.
Perhaps.
It was such a strange thing too. Like,
Yeah.
all muscly.
Okay.
And then like I could feel it hitting me like a slab of meat,
Oof.
and then
Okay.
hovering, like its wrists were on my wrists and its ankles were on my ankles, but its body wasn't touching mine. It was hovering. It was really messed up. I should try to do a dream analysis for that, but I don't really want to poke at the.
And we also need to get somebody who's really creative with filming to recreate this.
Oh my God.
Because
someone probably will.
Not really digging you're getting slapped in the face with meat, but whatever. It's like that's a crazy thing. Let's see what Michael Greer has to say.
What has he got? I've had type of paralysis in a dream where I tried to hit someone but couldn't. Probably body stop you from hurting yourself or others while sleeping. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've had those where I'm trying to run and I'm moving so slow, nothing's happening.
I get that where I can't run.
Yeah, right. Me too. I hate that. Rob's all stop.
Yeah, stop. He doesn't like the Meat Man story, I don't think. Okay, I know we have more slides, correct?
Yeah, I have another. Okay. This is my theory of not a spirit visitation. I had a dream. I had an actual friend who died of cancer, and I had a dream. I called her and asked her to cover me at work. We used to work together.
Okay.
And she kept saying, "Deedee, I can't." But her voice was so vivid. Aww. And it seemed so real. And it was weird. It was like I was driving down the street on my way to work, but while I was asleep, that wasn't actually happened. So I took that to be it may have nothing to do with her. It could have, I never analyzed it, but, or it could just be me thinking about her or thinking about someone, something work related. I don't know.
Sure. So, I mean, I guess
for me, because I was driving in a car and talking to her on the phone as opposed to being in my bed where I actually was.
And it almost makes you wonder maybe how many visitations we do get. And when, if you're somebody like Rob or, I don't remember all my dreams either. Like if you're somebody that doesn't remember a whole bunch of them, I mean, could we be just not remembering some of these visitations, at least consciously?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, maybe that's why you get those feelings of like, I don't know, maybe out of the blue, you think of somebody that you haven't thought about in a long time. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, what about, and then perhaps you had a little visitation the night before and you just don't remember. And now they've brought it to the, the forefront and and now you're thinking of them. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's possible.
Let's see. And your next one.
Oh, the aliens don't want you to remember. And alien.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
So then my last one's just, if you want to read, I put all the dream analysis up there so you can kind of read it. And if you're really interested in it, maybe reading the person's dream and reading the analysis will start to like put that into your own mind and make it feel more natural, for dream interpretation.
Right.
But I mean, anyone can do it. It's just time. It can be time consuming,
Right. Well, and here's what's really interesting when you think about some of this stuff such as dream analysis and like you said, it's a commitment, but I think this is where in life we have lost a little bit of our mindfulness. We have services to get our groceries delivered. We have Amazon delivering whatever we want, well, they say 2 days, but rarely is it 2 days anymore. Right. And then just, everything that is a click of the button, now they've got those rings that you can wear that, measures everything in your body health wise, which I don't like that whole, like anything that's like, well, it can tell you when you start to get a fever before you start to not even feel, it's like, we are just taking away our power to listen to our own bodies. Yeah. And so, dream analysis to me is another form of a Reiki session because, it's asking talk to yourself, listen to yourself. Yeah. And, I think this is a great step in going back and getting the information where it needs to come from.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, who better? I mean, really, you're going to be more honest I would hope you're honest with yourself, and it's really helped me, especially in the last few years with a spiritual journey. A lot of my dreams tend to go towards that. And it really helps me see what I'm actually feeling.
So you write them down. You have like a journal. So do you ever go back to your journals to see sort of if there has been something that you're like, wow, that kind of goes right along with, or do you go back and say like, okay, this week I was having these kind of dreams, and during that week, what was happening in my living life was this. Like, do you start to see some correlations?
I would like to say yes, but I don't
Yeah,
do that.
no, you don't go that far.
But I kind of, and I have a thing from the Goddess Provisions that actually can help you do that. And I haven't been consistent with that because there's so much going on in life. But I have seen patterns in my dream topics. A lot of the times it's telling me the same thing over and over. So I guess I'm just not listening.
Well, and I'm curious, dudes, you can close your ears here, but like, do cycles have anything to do with how we dream? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we all go through them in some form. So, you almost have to wonder, like, between the chemical makeup
and within ourselves or our environment, the people around us, the moon. I think that everything can contribute to it. But when you get down to the core, I still feel like it's all you.
Right. EMF, right, Bill, Brian? We've got, if you're sleeping with your phones next to your head.
I would love to know about that. Yeah. How does that? Yeah. Because I do sleep with my phone on my end table. So
and I'm not gonna lie, after last week's thing, I was like, I shouldn't probably have my phone so close to my bed, except that I don't have a daughter that's so close in my house, so I have to know if somebody needs me, that I just think I'll wake up if that phone rings. I hope I would, but so I hope you guys, I know, like I said, a handful of you on here have sent your dreams into Deedee, or if you have more to send to her, like, send them in and have her analyze them, pick them apart, do it yourself. Like, I'd be curious. And if you guys do that, and if you find a book or if you find that website that you kind of dig the definitions that they're giving you, let us know, share them with us. Would love to know. Deedee, you said yours was, did it say Dreammoods? Was that the one that you were...
I really like Dreammoods. I felt like that one has a lot of symbols in it. It's user friendly, and they seem they made it a long time ago. I feel like they're just very consistent. So that's my go-to. But like I said, if I look up theirs and either the symbol's not there, then I'll go someplace else. Or I just don't feel like it doesn't make sense. Then I like go to a couple of other sites to see how many say the same thing. And then is there something different,
Right. Well, it's definitely interesting. And I think, again, like you said, it's a commitment, but it's a mindful commitment, and it's worth it. I think that it's just worth it to, even if it could be something as easy as you're stressing about something so silly, and your mind is just trying to show you how silly it is, so let it go. Or, I mean, there might, the wisdom that is planted within you, let it come to the surface. And that is awesome. Awesome slides, Deedee.
I hope you guys liked it.
It's like, oh gosh.
Just like now I'm not a virgin on doing slides.
That's right. Look at that. First for everything. I mean, it's fun, right? Like, and it gets your thoughts organized while you were doing them, right? Like, it's kind of like, wow, I kind of know a lot of stuff there. So that is dream analysis. Deedee's been doing it for a long time. Please send your dreams to hauntedhourpodcast@yahoo.com. Get those.
Answer our question. That he says, Bill, empty casket paranormal, that can affect your dreams, but would probably have to be within 2 feet. So regarding EMF.
Yeah, I got news for you. My phone's probably barely a foot from my head. I mean, when I tell you, I have it like right there. So just in case
you're listening to it with your
right. Like, there's that too. But especially if you're not using the plugin, but if you're using Bluetooth, right? Does that have anything like that? Could have really.
Isn't that worse?
We should have this stuff all over us. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's really what our dreams are telling us. And do your dreams, are they so much different when you're out in nature?
Yeah, that's a good question. I dream less when I'm away from home.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Or I remember less. Yeah.
You're just
sleep when I'm in a hotel. For some reason, I sleep better.
Look at you. You're just vacating. I'm vacationing from everything.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, guys, thank you so much for your participation tonight. Deedee, thank you so much for the in-depth lesson on dream analysis. I highly recommend, if you haven't, that you do send a dream to Deedee. Get your first dream analyzed and check her out. See what you think. And if you love it, send her more, because I know she loves them. And then, you can be on her awesome little podcast there. Thank you to all of you who listen and support us. And of course, our friends in the comments. We beyond appreciation.
Yeah.
You get your support every week is amazing. We just have so much fun with you guys, and I love to see the fun and the little camaraderie going on there on the sides there. And of course, our amazing, wonderful producer Race, who's helping us out and getting those slides out there for us. Because again, I got to learn this stuff. I just got to learn this stuff, but he does it so beautifully. So
Yeah.
thanks to Race. Next week. It's going to be a surprise, I think, because we've got May going, but for some reason, nobody's liking the first week of May. What's going on that first week of May?
Yeah.
Anybody
Something
know?
we don't know about.
Something we don't know about. I don't know. So you might just see some more of the blondes here, but catch us next week right here on the X, the new mainstream at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.